the passion. But you know, it's been a difficult year with networking and engagements and staying in touch with a lot of the our contacts, especially on the government side, that are operating telecommuting and nailing down different things. And I think we've probably, from an industry perspective, seen things that we expected to happen or come out, not come out. And I know our January has been a rash of new opportunities that we have to start managing as far as what our resources can be. But December and January is a typical time where the SME posts partner with the core districts, and a lot of the core districts and SME posts are do have a hot mic.
Provide a summary or potentially dive.
But either way, so I've started, and I'm just curious how others are approaching it, and if somebody has one or two thoughts before we go into it. But as these briefings that typically we attend and interact with and talk strategy and opportunities, and digested, and contacts aren't necessarily being followed up with because they don't initially start in person. And I think from my perspective, not only is it helpful, from my business perspective, but I think it also makes a big difference in the product that ultimately we provide to the government. And as fellows, we have our own interests with our own jobs, but we do have the ability to influence and encourage things at our posts and our regional levels, where to help them connect dots. If it seems like some of the dots are just happening, just stray electrons loosely out there. But I was interested to see if anybody had any snippets or past experiences here in the last 3-4 months where you've found an alternative way to make these engagements and make them real. Any thoughts? All right, then we'll move on. But please, if because the agenda didn't get out there necessarily right away, if thoughts come up, please share them with the collective group. I think it's if we don't talk about it collectively, then everybody is left as being an individual. So two other things that are on my schedule, and I will be reaching out to folks, is succession planning for our regional fellow POCs that we have on the call, and some haven't been able to make it. We have several folks that have been in the position for quite a while, and it's not that we don't want to keep people actively engaged, but we also want to encourage others to get engaged. And sometimes it's as simple as somebody asking somebody. So if I encourage you, as like myself, I believe this will be my last year on the Academy of Fellows after 5 years. But, one opportunity or one area just leads to another, and people really enjoy having that perspective. So please give that some consideration prior to me reaching out. And not only whether if you're interested, but at your levels and where you're at in your career, you have a lot of folks that you've interacted with at various levels. So I ask for that, and then I also ask as we continue to be able to drill down into the posts and identify post fellow POCs that you also work at your level to encourage the posts to get the right people and the interested people involved. So, Mark, bail me out.
Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate it. And I'll tell you, you asked what have been those ways to interact, and John, you've got the perfect platform right here. We've only done a couple of these town halls with our Academy of Fellows, and this is a new way that we're reaching out. And there's a lot of things that we're doing the Academy of Fellows to reach out and keep fellows informed. This is one forum. Obviously, John talked about the regional fellow POC and the importance of them. And again, for those regional fellow POCs, we built this platform of this town hall primarily to communicate with you and to give you information so that you can reach out to the post POCs and to the rest of the fellows within your regions and keep them engaged and supporting our society. But let me, first of all, on this call today, I want to extend my welcome and congratulations to the Fellows Class of 21 who are joining us today. Scott Graninger is going to be your class leader. Scott, thanks for joining and thanks for stepping up to be the class leader for that. I saw your note in the chat to welcome everybody from the class of 21. But the class of 21, as you now join the Academy of Fellows, you are, by definition, by your definition, I hope, as well as ours, the best class ever. And don't let anybody tell you any different. You can see a lot of different classes in there in the chat saying they're the best class ever. I will make one exception, though, unless it's someone from the class of 2017. They also have that distinction of being the best class ever. So. But again, I want to congratulate you and welcome you into the Academy of Fellows. So it's great to have you today. As we kind of do that, we've got a couple things that are going on. We'll touch. I'll let the deputy chairs touch on a couple things that are walking about. We're going to do a kind of a happy hour, get to know everybody here later in January, and then we'll look for your investiture right around the time of JETSI. And again, we're looking forward to both of those events with you. So again, congratulations and welcome. But as we congratulate the class of 21 and for all the fellows out there, especially the regional fellow POCs, we also look to the future. And for the Academy of Fellows, the future now starts with the class of now to look towards the class of 22. And you're reaching out and mentoring those people to get them prepared for be the part of the class of 22 really starts, has been ongoing, but the real strong effort for them starts now. And we'll talk about that a little bit forward. I also want to talk a little bit about the, kind of the, what's the future for 2021 for our society. And as we look at what's happening in our society, we know that, and again, in our nation today, notwithstanding the challenges that we had yesterday within our nation's capital, but we continue to move forward in that. But we also face, we're still in the midst of the pandemic, and I'm sure all of you do what I do is periodically look at how high the spikes are and how things are going. But we also see that the vaccine is starting to get rolled out. There are, as we can imagine, logistical challenges with that. But we do know that we are starting to turn that corner and starting to get things back and working towards what I'll call the new normal as we go forward. But again, I have a sense that the nation is eager to get back to work. It's eager to get up to full speed, and I think the same can be said for our society. I think we're also very eager. We know that our next couple of events, which will be Capitol Week that's coming up, and JETSI, we know those are going to be virtual events. We now have the experience, and especially the National Office staff has the experience of how to run a virtual event, but also our membership has the experience of how to interact and engage in a virtual event. And so we want to make sure that we stay relevant throughout this period. But again, we probably see that in-person events could start later in the year. And so we're all hopeful for that. So again, I think our future is bright from that. And then the last piece I'll just say, I just want to thank all of you. I often say, and I talk to our Academy of Fellows Executive Committee, the Academy of Fellows is in the inspiration business. We have a role of mentoring and leading people within our society. But what we really do best is inspire the next generation, inspire those people that are out there leading the posts, and it's just starting to get engaged with our society. So I thank you for what you've done and what you continue to do to inspire the next group of leaders, the next group of fellows, and inspire each other. You know, I talked with Scott Granger, who's the class leader for 21, and talked about, you know, the commitment statements that the class of 21 has. And just sharing those commitments across that class and across our academy inspires all of us to continue to be engaged and support our society. So again, I'll keep it short and let you and go around the room with the rest of the academy chairs. But again, thanks for all that you do and all you continue to do for our society. So with that, Rad, let me turn it over to you. See if you have anything if you want to add to your perspective as the deputy chair for the academy.
Thanks, Mark. Just a couple of things, and that is echoing a little bit about what John and you've sort of touched on. It's been a tough year, but we've actually learned a lot about how we can interact. And I think one of the things that's come out of the Academy of Fellows is that we established the virtual happy hour for the last year's class, and that was the first year we've done it, and I think it's something we will continue even after things loosen up and we get back to whatever a new normal is. So, and there are a lot of other things we learned as well, and I would encourage you to try to take what we've experienced and survived in the last year and see how we can grow with that. I noticed something that was on a Baltimore event not too long ago is that not only were the slides produced, but also the audio of the briefings were produced as well. And that's something that was never done before. So there are a lot of ways we can learn and grow from where we were previously, and just take the positive things out of it. And as we claw our way out of it and get back to normal, let's learn and not do things in the same way, but see how we can do them and improve from there. That's really all I have, Mark. I know Melissa Smith is on. She's our chair, she's our vice chair for communications, and I would ask Melissa to talk a little bit about what she's been doing with the academy. And I think there's also a slide, or is there a slide on the communication, or is it just on the events, Kathy?
It's just the event.
Okay, well, Melissa, then could you please just talk about what you've got coming up on the for our communications and what you're planning, what our plan for the next year, please.
All right, Rad, thank you so much. Melissa Smith here. We are going to this year hopefully put out 4 quarterly newsletters. The first one is going to be distributed on Thursday, January 21st. If you're in the new class of fellows, we've been communicating because I want to introduce the whole class, and I've been asking for headshots. So if you have not sent me a photo, please do so before the 14th of January. In addition, we're going to be doing one in April, July, and then in October. So hopefully these will be a little personal. We'll be able to introduce what the fellows are doing, as well as, fellows, so we get to know each other a little better. We're engaged and we're interactive. So I think that's what we're looking for in the next year as far as the newsletters and the communications. So I believe next up after me is Sally Riker, and she'll be talking a little bit about awards and recognition. Sally?
Hey, everybody. I'm getting a lot of feedback, so I'm really sorry. I don't know if it's me or not. I'll be short and sweet. Want to put on your radar lots of different upcoming dates for awards. The Gerald C. Brown Mentoring Award is actually due on 2/5. All of the national awards are actually open to everybody right now. until 2/5. So we only have about less than a month now to submit them. So be thinking of who we could nominate for these awards. The next one, Golden Eagle.
Sally, why
Do you
don't
have
you
your,
try
do you
to
have your
turn
phone
off?
and your computer on?
I don't. Does someone else want to talk through this? Because mine is obviously the problem.
You might want to just try to turn off your mic and turn it back on. But if not, then we can pick it up. Go ahead, turn it off and on and see what happens.
Okay, let's see. No.
No?
Hey, Sally,
Okay.
Sally, this is Mark. I'll take it for you.
Okay.
I apologize. You know, sometimes we've learned a lot. What's the most common phrase? You're on mute. The other one is you need to mute. So apologize for that happening. But again, I think there were a couple of things that from a awards perspective that we wanted to make sure that the fellows kind of kept an eye towards. And, the first one is the Gerald C. Brown Mentoring Award. And that nomination, obviously, mentoring is a key element of the fellows and the Academy of Fellows. And so we're looking for you to, as you know, those people that are out there that have been out there mentoring and really being a leader in that field, please consider nominating them for the Gerald C. Brown Mentoring Award. And the other one is the Walter O. Backus Gold Medal nomination. Those are the, maybe the folks that have been in the Academy of Fellows for quite a while, and almost like a lifetime achievement award for folks. But that's the highest medal from that perspective to do that one. And then a couple of things, just again, it's just a kind of reminder that the Golden Eagle Award. We really have Golden Eagle Awards that we selected last year are going to be our Golden Eagle for essentially what we call our Centennial Golden Eagles. And that will be for both 20 and 21. And we did do one Golden Eagle event this past fall. And we had a fireside chat with one, but we are still looking to do an appropriate event for them in 2021. And again, we'll continue to work that. But we're not looking for nominations for 21, but do think about those nominations for 22. So I think that covers most of the awards from Sally's perspective. So with that, let me go ahead and let's go ahead and go to Anne. Anne, I see you are still in the Christmas spirit. Epiphany was just came, and you've still got your tree and your stocking up. So Anne, over to you.
Yes. Fingers crossed that my audio is working. Okay. And when Epiphany falls during the week, then I wait until that weekend to take down Christmas decorations. So it is actually thought out. I'm not just being lazy. So really the one thing that I wanted to point out was just about the Fellows nominations. A lot of you have probably heard me say this before. We don't want to just change things year after year after year, but at the same time, if something needs tweaked, we want to get it right. So like we've done the past few years, we're getting ready to do an AAR on the process. We will reach out to regional fellows, POCs, to RVPs. Please, 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 you are not going to hurt our feelings. If there is anything you liked, didn't like, suggestions, don't hesitate. We want to hear those. We'll take it all into consideration. I honestly, the process is really, I'm very pleased and comfortable with where it is. We can always make some tweaks, but I don't see anything major changing for next year. So something to be looking ahead to. Again, we're going to do the AAR this month, and then we'll be doing the webinar like we normally do. We used to do them in the June timeframe. We started doing them earlier in the March timeframe. Last year happened and we ended up in the summer again. So for the most part, you can usually look for those in the spring. We're really, really going to try for the April-ish, March, April-ish timeframe. So I highly encourage anyone who's considering putting in for a fellow or nominating, even if it's not this year, but a year or two down the road, hop on that webinar. I think that there's a lot of good information that can be used then, to help you prepare, even if it's a year or two down the road. So again, it's never too early if it's yourself or someone in your post that just highly encourage anybody. And we have anytime at all, if you have questions or again, to kind of start preparing, don't hesitate to reach out to anybody on the XC. We're pretty nerdy about how much we like to talk about that kind of stuff. So we welcome any discussions or questions that you guys have. So Mark, that is, I think, all that I have.
I think that puts me next.
Okay.
This is Sharon Kroc. I'm the Vice Chair of Events. And if you haven't noticed, we've had a kind of, craziness with events this year, but we've been doing what we can, and I think we've had a lot of success. And the one thing, I'll keep it quick, that I just wanted to mention, it's already been mentioned, is the happy hour for the new fellows class is actually already scheduled. It's on the 28th of January, and we're gonna try and keep this, it's at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and we're gonna try and keep it as a relatively intimate affair. So all the new fellows are gonna be invited, and they're gonna have the opportunity to invite maybe 1 or 2 other folks in addition to the vice chairs. And so not everybody's invited, but we want to be able to have people to say congratulations and thank each other and get to know each other in the fellows class. So congratulations to that class of 21. There's a lot of superstars in there, and looking forward to helping plan your events for the year to come. That's all I have. I think we have Philios is next.
It's Philios. Hope he's popping up.
Hey guys, let me get my camera on. There you go. I'm on. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to all, and welcome to our teammates from the class of 21. And looking forward to working with you. As the vice chair for mentoring, my job, as Mark said earlier on, is to be one of the leading inspirational folks within the executive committee and championing everything that has to do with mentoring. Last meeting that we had, the last town hall, I shared with all of you the vision that we have to get engaged at the post level and provide mentoring resources to help the post in different bringing fellow resources to help in the post in different kind of mentoring initiatives that we share with you, whether it's encouraging people to pursue fellow grade or engaging into other activities. So you're going to hear this from me on multiple of these meetings, championing these causes, and I'm excited about it and ready to be a resource to all of you to help facilitate this. And by example, I wanted to, I'm really happy about this. I wanted to share with all of you an example of this kind of engagement and collaboration that we would like to champion through the resources of the Academy is the program that we will be starting next week within the Washington area, our leadership and mentoring program. It's part of leadership development initiatives of the society. And the DC Post, in association with the Nova Post and the Mid-Maryland Post, which is a much smaller post, we are basically doing a tri-venture to continue in our 7th year, our LMP program. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, in addition to us being proud of continuing this great tradition and adding to the mentoring initiatives within SAME, it is a great example of where we can leverage not only the resources of fellows to be speakers at sessions, but also work collaboratively with various posts to create a program that obviously focuses in mentoring and leadership development. And this is an example of the kind of initiative that I'm hoping we can replicate in other parts of the country. And if any of you know of any posts that have an interest in creating a program like this, and they need ideas or they need fellows to be a resource to them to create programs to speak to young professionals within your posts, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to engage and be a facilitator along with you to make this thing happen in other posts around the country. Right now, essentially, we got 2 posts that are doing this. The San Antonio, which basically started this stuff, and then here in the Washington area, where it started with the DC Post, but now the DC Post has become a partner with Nova Post and Mid-Maryland to actually host this annually. So that's what we are. The other part that I'm involved is helping recruit fellows from the Academy for different kinds of quick initiatives, like evaluating candidates for different kinds of awards or candidates for different kinds of positions. So we are a resource for that. And as always, we are a great resource for knowledge, experience, and expertise for different kinds of initiatives. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, my email address is angelidisp@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to working with all of you and welcoming you within this year's activities. Back to you, sir.
Go ahead, Mark. I was going to offer Joe Shardell an opportunity before we passed it over to Kathy to go over some calendar events, and
I'm gonna hold
then I'd
Joe.
wrap it up.
I'm going to hold Joe in the waiting room for a moment, Joe, if you don't mind. But I did want to give the floor to our representative from the Distinguished Fellows, as we call him, Mr. 100, but Buddy Barnes. Buddy, thank you very much for joining us today. I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of give an update from a Distinguished Fellows perspective.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. And hello to all the fellows on the call and the video. I appreciate the fact that you are staying involved, and it's very important as you look at it. Check out that mentoring award and see what you should be doing, and actually check out what you said in your acceptance of being a fellow, and that just talks about mentoring and looking after all the different things in the society. So after a number of years of involvement as a fellow, about 8 members of the fellow group were selected as distinguished fellows a number of years ago. And one more has been added. He happens to be out in Portland, Oregon. His name is Bud Ossie. He became a fellow in 1972 and a member in 1946. And he's still hanging in there with us. Talked to him last week and wished him a happy new year. But the distinguished fellows are those who have continued to provide their duty as a fellow for many years after becoming a fellow. And so those people will be selected. Additional people may be selected in the future. And they would be selected by the existing distinguished fellows and the Academy of Fellows leadership. And so just to let you know that it is an honorary position, and it is one that we try to bestow on those who have gone above and beyond for many years after they became a fellow. But keep up the good work. Please find those members that would be good fellows and encourage them to work towards that class and to make sure that, other than the class of 2017, I just did want to bring something up there, only because Mark is chair, that's why he's pushing the class of 17, but they have been the most active group of people who came in and called themselves the class that we've had in the society. And so I must give that to the class of 17, a bunch of great people, and every other class is with the same number of outstanding people. And so please take care of yourself, keep looking after those members, and find that new fellow that you want to bring along. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. And as strong as the class of 2017 is, and yes, I'm a proud member of that class, I am confident class of 21 is going to set a new standard. So again, glad that everybody could join us today. Joe Schrodell, let me turn the floor over to you for a moment. And again, thanks for joining and thanks for all that you do to lead the society as well.
No, thanks, Mark. I'll just be quick. Yeah, the first thing I would say, and the most important thing any of us can say, is thanks. You know, I'll tell you, it's exciting for me to see the dedicated leadership. This is a volunteer-led organization. When I look at Buddy and the action plan, and Ann and Rad and everybody and Mark, all of you that have really made this transformation of the AOF what it is today, wow, the momentum is amazing. So the first thing I'd say is thanks. I look through the names of all the people who are on the town hall. Wow, what a cast of heroes who have, again, all of you have done great work for this organization. So, you know, for me personally as a professional, I just want to say thanks. And it's an honor to serve every one of you. The second thing I'd do is just underscore what Philios said and what others have said. You know, we shifted the focus of this organization to help our posts. We are a society of posts. In this environment, some of them need more help. So all those messages about helping posts and the commitment of the AOF, I would just underscore that because it's vital to the future of our organization. And then the last thing I'd tell you is this. Some people used the word pivot last year. Some people used the word spin in place. Some people used the word adapt. Doesn't matter. That's all in the past. As Mark said, we've learned some things, but we're going to build on those things. So my last word is this. You think last year was a pull a rabbit out of the hat and make it a great year? Wait till you see what happens this year. This is going to be another great year for our society. And I know it's going to be great because we've got people like you helping us out. So Mark, thanks for the opportunity, but that's what I would tell you. This is a great outfit. Thanks.
And Joe, thanks. You know, you talk about, you know, the Academy and the AOF action plan. I don't think a week goes by that I don't quote Buddy Barnes in his in what he did, and we know why he's a distinguished fellow and the leader of the distinguished fellows from that. And Kathy, thank you for pointing out happy 50th wedding anniversary to Buddy and Mary. And
oh, that's right.
Mary is why he's distinguished. That's why we know. So again, congratulations. So thanks for pointing that out. So.
And it was well stated by Kathy, just to let you know.
Yes, it is, as always. So with that, as appropriate, Kathy, let's turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mark. I'm going to go to the next slide here and go over some dates to remember for you all. Right now, we have the class of 2021 happy hour scheduled for January 28th. At 5 p.m. And as Sharon said, we'll be limiting that a little bit so that we can keep it kind of small and cozy, if you will. So you may get something on that. February 5th is when all the award nominations are due. And as was stated, we sort of align those with all the other awards. So there should be no confusion on when award nominations are due now. They're all due at the same time. The Golden Eagle Awards presentation, we're still trying to hash that out for a very small, intimate event in March. It will be limited attendance because of COVID restrictions. So you may see something on that, but we will definitely broadcast it to everyone and record everything so that everybody can see it. May, we're not exactly sure of the exact day, but in accordance with JTC, we'll have the class of 2021 investiture virtually and the presentation of the Gerald C. Brown Award and the Walter O. Backus Award presentations. And then, as we also said, we're always looking for Golden Eagle nominations for 2022 and beyond. And then one last thing I just wanted to say is that for the last few years, as you all know, we've been asking our new fellows to give us commitment statements. And all of you fellows are in leadership positions. And so if you're looking for volunteers and people to engage in your latest endeavor, please take a look at those commitment statements. And I'm sure you'll find somebody that will fit into what you're trying to do for the society. So those are listed on the AOF website. So please take a look at those and we'll have a new batch for you soon. That's it for me, Mark, over to you.
Hey, thanks very much, Kathy. And I appreciate you going over the awards. And one of the things I also just want to add on awards is I kind of talk about being in the inspiration business. Nothing inspires people more than you reaching out to them and talking about nominating them for an award. And the recognition that you provide them will serve to inspire them for years to come, and that'll trickle down to others. So, you know, not only do you look at those major awards that we look at you for fellows to champion, but also in your connection with your posts, make sure you also look at those post-level awards and support people to post. You know, you get the opportunity as fellows to support people at multiple levels. So, so again, thanks for doing that. And again, my other thanks is to Kathy, who not only reminds us about Buddy and his 50th wedding anniversary. I'm amazed how you keep all this information at the ready, but also about, you know, just organizing everything for the Academy of Fellows and doing so much for our society. So thank you, Kathy, for that. So with that, I think we've got about 20 minutes left. Let me turn it back over to John. John, back to you.
Hey, thanks, Mark. And to my fellow Academy of Fellow chairs, you know, third's a charm. We worked through that pretty seamlessly as people picking up and carrying on where the agenda went. So I tell you, I really appreciate that, and I'm hoping that maybe that there's a few folks that as we've been talking and getting thought processes going, that we might get a couple people to come in and give us some thoughts. I tell you, it's kind of hard here to talk, and knowing everybody's on mute. I have no idea if people are laughing at me or laughing with me. So really, truly, it's kind of like talking to my wife sometimes. I just keep talking more until I'm in trouble. So I would love to hear if somebody else has some thoughts or some questions.
It's like open mic night without any laughs or anything coming back. So I feel your pain, John. You're doing great.
Yeah.
There's a response. I don't have a question, but.
And John, wondering if they're laughing with you or laughing at you. It's probably a little bit of both.
Mark, I think we're beginning to have a great relationship. It's kind of Casablanca.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see if we can, as you said, we're in the inspiration business, Mark. So why don't you inspire somebody to have a comment?
Hey, John and Mark, Tim Kuiper, how are you?
Hey, Tim.
I'm not so sure about the conversation with my wife, but I always get accused of not listening to her. So, or not hearing her, I guess is what she always says, but I'm not so sure what I attribute that to. Too many rounds without earplugs, I think. So, in any event, I just wanted to offer a comment on the review process on the applications, having been involved for a number of years now. Got the process, refine, perform again, refine again, but this year's process, I thought we're getting towards, and I hate to use the word perfecting the process, but this was probably the most efficient application review process, at least in my opinion, having participated in the last 4 or 5 years that we've gone through. So just offering my 2 cents on that process.
Wonderful, thank you. You know, I'll be honest, I think the part, like I said, I'm very comfortable. I think we've made so many improvements, you know, over the past few years. Me personally, I'm still trying to figure out how the regional fellows and the RVPs, I'm trying to figure out if we've got that right or not. So that specifically, if anybody has comments on, that's something I'm super curious about. Do we, you know, are we asking too much? Are we asking enough? Are we, you know, we want to be consistent. So if you have one regional fellow who maybe puts in more time than another, does that work for our process? So, but thank you so much for the feedback. That definitely helps. Much appreciated.
Quite welcome. And I did hear that. Would you kindly call my wife and let her know that I can hear?
John, what else do you have for us?
Well, I'm gonna take a risk here. because that's what I am. I'm a risk taker, conservative risk taker. But as Kathy took down the slides, then I actually see all the names much easier. And I believe I have a buddy out there in Alaska named Brian Duffy, and I'd love to know what he has to say.
Hey, John. Greetings from the last frontier. Hope everybody is well. Certainly not a fellow, but helping as I can with Eric Warner in the Pacific. And just wish everybody all the best and congrats on the new class.
Hey, Brian, thanks. I've done that to people before, and I appreciate you not ignoring it. It makes me look better. I think we learned how to do that several years ago at a great institute. Brad, I see your face coming on. Mark, I think is it the hook? Are you pulling me?
Not yet. Picking up on what Ann was talking about very briefly earlier, I just want to open it up to make sure that all of the, not just the regional fellow points of contact, but also the RVPs and any other fellows or others who have worked in the process in the past know to plug into the after action discussion if you have comments about the process and you want to share them with any of us, anybody on the committee, but certainly start with Ann, because we have been working very hard over the past 5 years, as long as I've been involved with it, to improve the process. And I know that's really close to Ann's heart as well. So, Ann, is there any? I know we don't have a date yet, but do you have any other thoughts about bringing comments in for our after action? How you want to coordinate that?
Yeah, so the email will be going out this weekend. And it's one of those, we're going to keep it as simple as we can, do it by email. I'll send out an email kind of asking, I'd like to put some thoughts in there to try and get you guys thinking about it. You can just respond via email, and then we'll be kind of compiling all of those and looking at them early February. But yeah, anybody at all, we have to have some sort of organization. So I think the distro list will probably be RVPs, regional fellows, possibly post presidents. But yeah, anybody at all, we will welcome feedback from anyone at all, just via email, keeping it as simple as we can. So again, we'll be starting that process this weekend.
This is Dave Packard in Omaha. And,
hey, Dave.
Hey, Ann. I'll offer this up, and that is that I've heard a couple of comments regarding the relationship between the RVPs and the RFPOCs, and one of the things that I can say that we've done this past year is really work toward formalizing at the post level our councils of fellows. And so what we've really worked hard on is identifying those people who are still active and those who are not active, formalizing the role that the fellows play within the posts themselves, and that's throughout the Missouri River region, and then identifying some goals for the year. So I think that idea that was referred to of kind of making the posts more responsible and helping the posts out that was mentioned by Joe, I think that's starting to bear fruit, especially in this time when we as a national organization might struggle just because of the sheer size of it. Start to bring it down to the regional and the post level, and it's much more manageable. That's all I have to share.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Anyone?
I promised to keep it under an hour, so I'll throw it back out there to the crowd. If not, I'll bow to Mark for final comments.
Hey, thanks, John. I appreciate it. Again, thanks everybody for joining in. I did want to just kind of another one just to keep your eye out for. One of the things that'll be coming out here, and I think it's great for all fellows, is the Century book. It has been something that Joe Schrodel and the National Office have been working for quite a while, and we get to see little snippets of it as well. And Cindy Lincecum from the Century, who's been leading those efforts, all of those is starting to come together, and I think you're going to start to see that Century book's going to be coming available this year as well. And that's another good thing to look forward to as we go forward. But again, thanks everybody for joining in today. I really appreciate the dedication that everybody has to come on. I mean, I look at the list of fellows in here that I've seen, and I see some longtime fellows, like, we talked to, Buddy Barnes. We see people like Scott Jarvis, who's been a fellow for a while. And then we have some of the fellows like Stacy Arata from last year. And then obviously the class of 21 that is joining us today. So again, I appreciate everyone joining in. And again, Happy New Year. Let's make 21-21 a strong year for our society and again, for our nation. So thanks very much for all you do, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations, class of 21.